Thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate seeing so many faces and friendly friends, cousins, aunts, uncles, all the people that we love in this room. When I think of my dad, the first thing that comes to mind is gratitude for his love, his presence, his humor, and the way he shaped our family. He was steady, kind, and strong in quiet ways. He wasn't a man of many words, but when he spoke, you listened, and when he laughed, we all laughed with him. At 16, he left his home in Nova Scotia to build a life, but Nova Scotia was always where his heart returned. He probably made 60 trips back down east every year. He was drawn to the beaches, the salt air, and the people he loved. It was his favorite place on earth, and it brought him peace. Dad loved to tell stories about growing up with his 9 siblings, the pranks, the adventures, and the hard times. Listening to him, you could almost see those memories unfolding before your eyes. And he loved food. A good feed of lobster, mussels, or clams was heaven to him. An apple pie made by his mom, or my mom, was the ultimate comfort. In his own words, he went to church every Sunday because he drove my mom and made it to the parking lot. He and Mom prayed every night for family and friends and anyone who needed a little extra care. When he could no longer fight the battle here, I believe God called him home. I like to picture him now riding his bike, smiling free, and living on through the adventures of his children and the joys of his grandchildren. I hold close the everyday joys, the memories that still make us laugh, and the belief that his story continues. If you knew Dad, you know he would expect at least a few of his grandchildren to carry on his loyalty and his faith in the Toronto Maple Leafs. Losing him has been the hardest goodbye, but having him was the greatest gift. Today, we celebrate him for the husband, father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend he was. And we celebrate him with stories, laughter, and love, because that's exactly how he would like to be remembered. Thanks, everyone. And if anyone has anything they want to say, the mic is open. I think I have my 2 nieces who might want to say some words.
Tell us your memories about Mama.
I'll always remember playing cards with Papa, like Go Fish and Uno. And I'll never forget my first ice cream with Papa, and he always wanted to give us more.
I will always remember Paul's generous spirit.
And I remember when we were always on the phone, he always joked that he had chocolate-covered Beatles for breakfast. I'll always remember when Papa pretended to not know his colors.
I'll never forget the many nights playing crib with Rita and Paul.
I remember when we were always on the phone, he always wanted us to have a banana split. I remember calling Papa, and he always joked that Grace and I were such pretty boys. I always remember when we were going to their place, he always picked us up at the airport.
I will always remember Paul's countless stories. He loved to tell a good story.
I'll always remember Papa telling us to color on my parents' walls, and Dad said that we should go there and color on his walls. I'll always remember when I was a baby. He was sleeping on his chair when I was sleeping in my swing.
I'll always remember Paul's scrambled eggs. I don't know how he got them so fluffy.
I remember having the bacon and tomato sandwiches with Papa. I will never forget our Papa.
Mentor is his storytelling abilities. I lack that ability. I don't know who matches that ability actually, but yeah, if we could be remembered through the stories, I think would be important. So if anyone has anything, because I think we all have very unique and beautiful experiences with him. So for me, oh, yes, yes, thank you. This moves to match your face. Oh, thank you to my brilliant children. Mine's not as articulate as my sister's either, but I guess I just wanted to share a few memories. I mean, I think we all know my dad in a different way. For me, I knew him as my dad, and I feel incredibly honored and lucky to have had him as my father. It was weird. When I was a kid, I got into a little bit of trouble once in a while. And my dad was always there. He always stuck by me and challenged me, made me do everything. I used to I stole a couple things, and he brought me back to the factory where I stole these things and said, yeah, my son here has something he wants to tell you. And he always tried to keep me on the right path in a time where it was very easy for me to stray. None of my friends' parents were doing that for them. Some of my friends' parents had them like, oh, steal one for me. So I'm really appreciative of that. At a time when we were skipping school or whatever, my dad pulled up the car next to me, get in the car. And again, my kids that I grew up with that didn't have that influence, they turned out in a very different way. So yeah, I'm very appreciative for him as a dad. And now I see it coming out as well, like the, well, that kind of father bear, I guess, the protector. I mean, I don't know, going for a bike ride with the kids, and then some random adult starts being inappropriate, and I know how to stand up for them and scream back and do what's necessary to stand back. So just random things where I learned these skills from my dad, because he was always there for us, for all of us. He was very loving and very protective, and yeah, I feel very honored. So, and for those, there are a few of us in the room that were there in the last moments, but I'll say it in case there's any wondering. At the end, my dad did have a lot of peace, and he was at ease with what was happening. He faced death incredibly courageously, with the dignity and poise and joy that I didn't know was possible. Right down to the last moment where his vitals were kind of dropping down a little bit, and he's, on his way. And my siblings were like telling me, hey, say hi to our pets that we've recently lost. And he's like, oh, if I can, I will. And then he has this thought, but I'm not saying hi to that scout. And if anyone, well, Kenneth was scout, but it was a dog that, it had a little bit of mental challenges. It probably pooped on the stairs that my dad slipped on, maybe different things. My dad had some issues. So right to the end, he kept his humor, and he faced it fearlessly. He was very at ease. He felt good with the life he's lived. He felt very proud of his friends and his family and his children and grandchildren, and very grateful for his life. So I think for me, if I can hold on to a fraction of that, I'll feel that I did a pretty good job. Yeah, anyway, that's where we are for now.
I'm his younger brother. He had 5 over.
I don't know if it's, 1 second later. You good? It's turned off somehow. 1 second. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm not really a speaker, but I just want to say a few words so that Huey knows that he wasn't the only one that was a bit mischievous. Like I say, I'm his younger brother. He had 5 older ones, but I can remember him. He was similar to Huey in a way that he kind of took things that didn't belong to him. And he got in a bit of trouble, but his father told him, Paul, you can't be doing this. You're going to go to reform school. So, anyways, he got out of that habit. But I just want you to know that he's kind of a chip off the old block. Anyways, I just wanted to say a few words. So, thank you.